Welcome back to Secrets of the Opposite Sex. I'm your host, Tasha Ray, and welcome back to the show after our mid-season break. Tonight, we're picking up where we left off with the fellas, this time giving the ladies a chance to chime in on dating expectations. And for the first time, we're recording live on YouTube so we can interact with our listeners throughout the episode. So we'll be sharing your comments and taking some questions at the end. We have an amazing panel of ladies tonight, so let's dive in. Hey, ladies.
Hello.
Hi. So why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves, and we'll start with you.
Hey there, I'm Sen. I am in Portugal. I'm from DC. You said my age, none of y'all business. And I am not single.
Sandra from Maryland, 42.
I'm Jessica. I am 39. I'm in St. Thomas from DC.
And just how we do it every episode, we're going to pull questions from the app Secrets of the Opposite Sex, which you can download from home on the Apple App Store and play. As you ladies know, we're talking about the dating expectations versus reality tonight, which is what we talked about with the guys in the last episode. So the first question I have for the people: do you believe that your generation has more or less realistic dating expectations than previous ones?
Our generation, or
we're all in the same age bubble, so we'll say our generation for the sake of this question.
I feel like we do, but then I feel like the media kind of misconstrues that, and because people have so much access to one another, like I feel like maybe 10 years ago you had to go out to meet people, so you saw people in kind of like spaces that were within your like age group like range, so our expectations were a little bit more similar then. But now it's like women have access to, like, I don't know about you guys, but my DMs are like popping with like fucking 20-year-olds, and I have a problem. As you guys know, like these little young boys are always, I don't know, and their expectations, I mean, honestly, I will say, like, I've dated like decent 20-somethings, but I think for men, they also have access to these 20-somethings, and they kind of misconstrue, like, their dating expectations are insane. And then when we have standards, they kind of come to us. It's just weird. So I think we do, but there's just so much access to everyone that there's a lot of gray area within that.
Yeah, I think our generation does have pretty decent. I think we've kind of held on to some decent expectations. I mean, I usually date like my age or older. So like a lot of guys I date, they're not really, haven't been really on social media like that. So haven't really been influenced. So I think growing up like in the 90s and the 80s and dating men that grew up in the same era, I think they're less influenced than like the generation, like my kids' generation, or, you know, generations that came after us.
Yeah, I think we're probably the last generation of people who can have normal expectations with dating just because of all the stimulus that exists.
Yeah.
I feel like we are, I say like more rooted, more grounded in the younger generation. I mean, because like you said, they have so much influence from so many other things, social media, from TV, like, so their perception of reality is a little skewed in my mind. But we'll talk about that a little bit later, because that's one of my other questions. Do you think your generation...
I work with college age kids, and the stuff that I hear and see, it is nuts. These kids are insane. They completely, I'm so glad. Oh, Sandra, I feel like Sandra's son is like my baby. I feel so bad for him. I would not want to date. I wouldn't want to be a boy or a girl dating in like my 20s right now. Like in my 20-some, at any like 29 or 21, like it is so crazy. Just like the gifts that they expect, and like the lavishness of everything, and like, oh, I want to do, like, sis, you know, like this, the shitty dates and those like raggedy bags, and that builds character. Like, you can't just expect to know someone for 3 minutes and like he's paying for you and 18 of your girlfriends to go to Ruth Chris for dinner.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They really expect stuff like that. And even like I have friends with like younger kids, and it's like they're asking like, "Oh, you should cash out me money." Bitch, you're in 6th grade. What the fuck do you need money for? It's nuts.
What in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my girlfriend had to take her son's phone and like block the little girl. Was like, if you ever, I need to speak to your mom, or don't ever call my son again.
My God.
I think so. Since you brought up Chris, so Chris, I think though he has never really run into that kind of stuff. I think it depends on who you're dating, because like there are still good girls out here and good guys out here in the younger generations. I do truly believe that, because like my son is definitely one of them. And then I've like some of the girls that he's been interested in and been like he has discernment where, okay, I know I can take her seriously, and she ain't shit, whatever. But there are some good girls out here who are not wanting all of that stuff. So yes, it's all over social media, and a lot of people are on social media, but I think, and I'm not going to say it's the majority, but some kids in the younger generation do have more realistic expectations and don't really fall into the hype. I mean, neither one of my kids are really heavy on social media. So they're kind of rooted realistic expectations. So that's kind of what they're looking for. They're looking for more like connection. What goals do you have? Like those are kind of conversations that they're having with people that they're interested in, not what kind of dates, what are you buying me? Like I've never even like heard my son even mention that kind of shit. And if he did, he'd drop her ass so quick.
Your kids are different though. I will your kids are different.
Yeah, I guess so.
I like your kids. I don't like too many kids. I like yours.
Fair. I think that my concern is like, or what I've seen from younger friends or just listening to younger coworkers and stuff talk about their relationships, I feel like they don't know how to solve problems. Like they don't know how to like resolve conflict. And within their relationships, it's like the girls feel like they should be in an episode of Basketball Wives or something where they just like, even if the guy didn't do anything extreme, it's just like they just want it to be more than it is. And I can never really wrap my head around that. You know what I mean? It's just like you got to learn how to pick your battles, and you ending a relationship over something, in my mind, that's like a 2, but to them, it's just like, fuck that nigga, blocked, next. And
yeah. Well, that's me. I'm like,
you know what? I'm proud of you.
Like, oh no, I don't like you. What you said yesterday.
I'm proud of you.
I have to ask this question. Okay, so I have a younger friend, and the guy's a little bit older than her. I guess they only been dating for a few months, maybe like 3 months, and she stopped talking to him because he didn't contact her. He usually calls her every day within a certain time. I don't think this is anything they discussed prior to, but he usually calls her at a certain time every day. And this one particular day, it's like 10:30 her time, and he's, on another coast, so he's a few hours behind. And she was real mad, like to the point where like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, fuck this. Like, my day is almost over and you haven't thought about me all day. And this is the first time you want to reach out and talk to me and say something to me. Like, and it was a problem. It was an argument in her mind. And she said it dragged on for a few days, and she just ended up blocking him and saying, just fuck it, because she told him, I expect to talk to you every day. If that's not something that you can agree to, like wanting to talk to me every day and making sure you do it within a certain span of time, then we don't need to talk anymore. And he said he just couldn't commit to that at that point, because he didn't like, I don't know if he didn't like how she brought it to him, or that he felt like it was emasculated for somebody to tell him like, you need to talk to me every day between 6 and 6 or something like that. But she said he was just like, I don't feel comfortable like agreeing to something like that. So she said, okay, hung up the phone and blocked him.
I mean, did she even ask him like, are you good first before she just...
Right.
The funny part is, so I asked her, I was like, just reenact for me a little bit. How did the conversation go? She said he called her on FaceTime, and she had her makeup done, and he was just like, you look beautiful. And she was like, what you been doing all day?
Okay. They were just talking like,
Yeah, like
dating exclusively. And she made a comment like she felt like he was manipulative because after a few days of just knowing each other, he wanted to be exclusive with her and wanted her to kind of like, no, not talk to anybody else either. I didn't see that as manipulative because I'm like, you agreed to it. He can't just force you if you didn't. It's not like you didn't want the same.
That's somebody who knows what they want. I mean, if he's telling you, look, this is what I want. I mean, I want to be exclusive with you. What's wrong with that? We'd be first quick to be like, oh, we're confused. We don't know what they want, blah, blah, blah. But then they tell us what they want. Then we don't want it. Like, what? Then they're manipulative. I'm confused.
So I get her being upset about that because honestly, I feel like you can take a second to be like, hey, I've got a lot going on. I'm going to call you later. Like you can text somebody. So, but I don't think that's like, again, I think you should ask like, is there a reason? Are you okay? Like, is there a reason I didn't hear from you all day? Especially if you're exclusive and like, we're trying to make something of this. Like
first, though.
No, right. You can take a second to be like, today's crazy. I'm going to call you when I can, like just checking in type thing.
But has that ever happened to y'all where you couldn't, like your day just kind of got away from you or whatever, and you just, even though your person is always your person, you love that person, and ain't nothing changed, you just had one of them days. Like, is there ever a reason that you feel like it's okay to go without talking to someone?
Not if I really like them, then I'll take a second to be like, you know what, my day's fucked up. I either don't feel like talking to you or I have a lot going on, but I'm going to communicate with you later. I think that's, to me, that's just more respectful. Like there was a guy that I used to talk to and he was always so busy. And I'm like, sir, cut the shit. Like you make time and effort for people that you want to in situations that you want to. I'm not asking you. And it was long, like he was in Florida. I was here. I was like, I'm not asking you for a fucking date. I'm asking you to call me once a day. And if that's too much, then this just ain't gonna work. Cause that's like the most minimal shit somebody could ask you for.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I think if it happened out the blue, like I will first check and see, are you good? If everything's good, and then I don't think I would trip over it. Probably because like if I'm gonna be busy too, I've had times where I just haven't had time. I didn't even know what day it was, what time it was. I was on grind mode. It had nothing to do with me disliking someone. It's just I was completely focused on another task. And so if I were to date a guy who immediately thinks it's over because I just missed the day and we ain't talk and I didn't reach out, then I'm like, if you're going to get upset about this, then let's just go ahead and wrap this up right now because this is going to blow me.
Like, bro, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Breaking up over that is nuts, though.
You are all the way on the other side of the country. Let's start there. And like, so, okay, yeah, we're exclusive, but I mean, you called me. The day wasn't over. You didn't let the whole day go by. It was 10:30. I mean, I called you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like I waited until tomorrow. I called you at some point.
Yeah.
It was just.
I don't think that's a reason to break up. Like, I can understand.
No, not to stop.
But like to end things. Like, I think that something you can discuss and like work on.
Yeah.
Like it helped. That's a conversation that could kind of make your relationship stronger because you can come to an understanding and kind of communicate your expectations a little bit more. And then, but I'm not fucking breaking up with you for that. That's
right.
Yeah.
You can talk about that one. You could work that out because he may not have known like that was such a big deal to her. And all she had to do was say, hey, like, I just appreciate it if you call me. Like, I'm glad you're okay. You know what I'm saying? I just want to hear from you, earlier if possible. And I get it. If you're busy, just hit me up. Let me know what's going on. But I don't think, like you said, it's something that you should be like, oh no, it's over. Right. And that goes back to what you were saying, Tasha, about like the younger generation. They're so quick to just be out for anything.
Yeah.
Looking for a reason. And today it could be you didn't call me till 10:30. And then the next day it could be like, well, you forgot to send me the flowers and you send them every Tuesday. And I'm just like, it's a lot of effort to keep these weird relationships and bizarre expectations together. And it's just like, I feel like if you just see someone, I mean, she probably saved him, but to see someone just go off over something so minute, it's just like, let's just wrap this up.
Right. That'd have been a red flag for me, like on his end.
Yeah.
Girl, you're tripping.
I feel like though a lot of times with the younger generation, because they're like, because of social media, like attention is such a big thing for them that they like to be chased. So they're big, and this is like what I've noticed, like even like with my kids at school, like they'll break up and, oh well, he's not chasing me, or it's like there's something about that attention, like there's a weird thrill that they get from that, which is obviously not healthy at all. But I've noticed that a lot in like even like my younger girlfriends, because I have a lot of younger girlfriends. It's like they really like to be chased. They like, it's part of that whole, they need to have that constant attention from somebody. And I'm like, shit, I want to be fucking left alone.
Okay.
Hello?
I'm please.
I don't have time.
Okay. That kind of takes us to the next question perfectly. So, what are some common misconceptions about dating that you see perpetuated by social media?
That shit's always good.
Mm.
That it's good all the time.
But you don't have to communicate. I feel like people just assume that life is great and that you don't have to communicate. Like even from the past example, there was no communication that she felt was necessary before saying, let's just block this because you didn't call me. Like you said, she could have had a whole conversation like, hey, I expect to hear from you. And I don't think, and I'm just throwing this out there with the younger generation, people don't know how to communicate, whether it's in work, whether it's relationship, whether it's friends. If there's conflict, I don't think people have learned conflict resolution. Conflict does not mean it's ended. It didn't end your job. You don't have to quit your job because someone stretched you out. You don't have to, like, I think the conflict resolution is completely lacking. And I think a lot of it is, it's parents just giving their kids stuff because they wanted their kids to not struggle or would have a better life than they have. And it's this false sense of like, stuff is going to be bad. And when it is, you need to be able to be an adult and be able to communicate and resolve something. And I don't think that's a skill that a lot of young people have learned.
Yeah, there's a lot of entitled little kids, little young people out here.
That'll grow now. Those brats turn into adults.
Yeah, well, they're right.
They turn into adults. Absolutely.
I also think that social media has given people, and not just young people, all of us, in some kind of way, shape, or form, that there's so many options out there.
I was gonna say the same.
Yes. And granted, there are a lot of options out there. Like there are a lot of men and women, but then it's also given them the impression that to like value looks over substance. Like there's so many beautiful, fine, sexy women out there, and you'll see these like young boys, and they're like, oh yeah, I would make her my girl. I'm like, she probably doesn't know the difference between there, and there.
Okay, 2, 2, and 2, because they be
like that. And then even with like women, like some of the people, oh God, okay, this is live, but whatever. The last person I dealt with, he was very handsome, and the thirst that he would get on his like social media, and I'm just like, if you bitches only knew.
Girl.
Not he wasn't a nice guy, but it's like, I feel like they're just so absorbed in like what somebody looks like and like
what they appear to have.
Yeah. But I'm just like, these people could be really shitty people. Like really shitty people that are really fucking dumb and can't hold a conversation for 5 minutes, but they just wouldn't care about that because you know what, their ass is fat and their weave looks real nice, or they can shake it, or whatever the fuck they're doing to like generate attention. But yeah, so they could have an amazing person with them, but they're still interested, or like, even if they're not interested, if given the opportunity, they might entertain that if it was reciprocated, rather than just, okay, yeah, I have something really good here, let me just stay in my lane.
Right. Because even if there may be a lot of quote unquote options, but like, are you really going to connect with them on a deep level? Are you going to be, are you going to be compatible with them? Do you have the same values? Do you have the same interests? Like all those things you don't even think about. You're like, oh yeah, like you said, he or she is so fine, but then when you get together, you can't talk about nothing, or you don't have that depth, that connection that you have, because that's not easy to find. And when you have it, people take it for granted, and they're like, oh, I can just get that. I can just get that anywhere,
That was kind of like what you just said. That was kind of like my advice to the young lady I was talking about before. Like, it's not that easy. Like, it don't get better. I know that the young girls feel like I'm young, I have nothing but time, and an opportunity at me. Oh, that's real to a degree, but I feel like it's changed for them so much that the pickings are so slim, even so early on for them. So I'm like, if you got somebody flying you out doing what he should have been doing and more, ugh.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I'm like, does she know there are like 2 fish in this shitty ass sea? Like,
Sometimes you gonna have to show
If
somebody.
that, if that, and if they're fish in there, they probably have a wife or something.
Okay.
One is married and one is widowed, and they're both
exactly. So they're not really.
They both have trauma
fish.
and shit.
Okay. Oh Lord.
Because look,
bullshit.
I feel like everybody got somebody. I'm telling you, everybody got somebody. Ain't nobody just out here just single. Like, especially men. I don't know. I feel like men, they all cheat. Like, it ain't nobody out here with just nobody, and then you just
that's
I'm single, and you know what I'm saying? Nah, I ain't never met a man, a married, single, divorced, in a relationship that wasn't down to do whatever. Not a single one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna speak for my little Southern brothers. I feel like I will say my little North Carolina people, the people that I know, like back home that live there, they probably are the most adult-like people when it comes to making good life decisions and like having self-discipline. Cause ain't nobody got nothing.
I don't believe that all men cheat. Like I don't
believe all men cheat either.
Yeah, I have male friends who like love their girls and they with them, and when they with a girl, like they loyal, they're good dudes. So I've seen a good amount of good dudes to say like they not all like that.
I don't feel all men cheat, but I feel like cities during the talking stage, don't ever assume that there isn't someone.
I agree. Yeah. I feel like you have to be fair. I feel like a lot of women assume that you're supposed to be like, he needs to like give all this attention and all that stuff at the beginning. Like you got to give people, not just men, but if they're just doing casual things and they got situationships, you have to give them the opportunity and the time to clean their house if they want to be with you. And anytime I had dated a dude, I was a commitment phobe. So I was like, listen, if you feel like we're in a relationship, you should probably tell me, because I'm never going to assume that we in one. So give me a heads up, because I'm still, going to do what's happening. And so with that, I feel like, when a dude really wants to be with you, or a woman, like I think period, you end up cleaning your house naturally. But you should always assume that man, woman, female, or whatever has a situation before they met you. They didn't know they were going to meet you. So don't be out here thinking that they done cleared their roster before they even met you. That's crazy.
Right. And you need to ask those questions like, so if we're going to be moving forward, I'm sure you have whatever going on. So did you handle that? Or how much time do you need to handle it?
I don't ask those questions.
I don't either.
I've never asked those questions. Like, if I have to do all that, then it's like, I feel like it just, every person I've ended up dating, like it really just happened organically. Like after a certain amount of time, if we're sleeping together, first of all, if we start fucking without protection, we're together. I'm sorry. That's right. What it is. If you're in a relationship,
who are you sleeping with?
Yeah. Like, and that's the thing. I don't like people asking me that kind of stuff. Like, if I'm spending time with you, if I'm making enough to see you regularly, and it's mutual, maybe I'm naive, but I'm going to assume I don't want to know any of that shit. Like, if you show up when I need you to show up, if you're doing what you need to do, if I don't have any reason to believe otherwise, I don't really care. And the thing is, if you're not, then I'm just going to lose interest in you eventually. But I don't ever ask those kinds of questions ever. Like, I never have. And I remember having a conversation when they were like, we were kind of talking about that. Like, oh, well, did you guys sit down and say that we were together? And we were like, no, like it kind of just happened. And it just got to the point where, okay, obviously we're exclusive, and it never needed to be discussed. Like, I didn't want to know what he had going on. He didn't want to know what I had going on, but I knew that he was showing up when he needed to, and it just worked out. Like, yeah, I'm the opposite. I don't ask you nothing. Nothing.
I want to know if we're going to be sleeping together without protection. I want to know, I need to know that it's just me. And if it's not, then okay, cool. We're going to keep sleeping together.
Well, I'm not doing that until you've shown me that we are.
And like,
Yeah, and I'm just not doing it. Like, I just don't. Like, I feel like
that's not happening if you were
kill
just
me.
like,
So I'm just never trusting a dude enough to not use a condom. I'm like, nope, you ain't killing me. I don't care. That's just, I mean, and it could be cool, but I've always been paranoid like that.
We're basically like together all the time. And this isn't just something I'm doing like with anybody, but like, I feel like I already know that we're in exclusive.
Yeah, I'm away from
that. I don't want to
know. Like, I can't. I'm too scared. I'm too scared of these dudes out here just out here living.
They are scary.
I just see, like, and it could be. I mean, even when I'm now, like, I've known them since I was 13. We still use condoms. Like, I'm not playing those games. Also, I don't want to get pregnant either as well. But I just don't. Probably have some trust issues, but. Yeah. And I've never been the woman to be like, where are we going with this? Like, are we in a I've never asked to do that. I've always said, if you want to be in a relationship, you should probably tell me, because I'm always going to assume that we're not in one. And everybody's cool with that until, they may call and you're like, well, where you at? I'm like, I'm about to go on a date. And they're like, well, wait a minute, what? I was like, well, why are we confused? Right. But unfortunately, then it's like a default, like, let's be exclusive, just because you don't want, somebody going out with somebody else.
They don't want you for real, but they don't want you with nobody else. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's funny. Jess ain't asking no questions. I'm asking all the questions, because one day you got me. Listen, I got one time. Asking on the first date, do you have any kids? Had one on the way. Now you got to ask all the questions. Do you have any kids? Do you have anybody pregnant? Do you have anybody?
Do I have one on the way?
That's for the date, though. And if that was the case, I'm not going.
Girl, but like, now you gotta ask these stupid questions, because now by the time I figure out this nigga got a baby, we 9 months in. Like,
I feel like they also throwing some red flags before that you like, you don't even want to be here anyway. Like, those type of dudes I feel like they throw out so many red flags. Like, I remember going out on this date, and this dude, he was married. And I think I'd ask him what happened to the relationship. Anytime a dude says, oh, my libido was too high.
What?
When men would say that, I always felt like, even they wanted one, you're probably sucking bad. And that's usually what the issue is. You wanted to have more sex with her, and she didn't really like it. And she was getting irritated by keep trying to have sex with you.
Yeah.
Usually I've heard, oh, my libido was too high, so it didn't work out. And I'm like, you probably suck in bed. And she probably was trying to like you and didn't tell you the truth.
At the beginning, anyway.
Yeah. I've heard that one. We didn't work because my libido was too high. And it's like, yeah, we don't need to see each other no more.
You know what? It's probably too high for me too. So
I feel like and this is probably some good information for men, because I would hear, so I have a lot of male friends, and they allow me to ask questions, and I would hear even from my male friends, the ones that I said, even, they're faithful and all that, and it's always a thing of, I want to have sex more than her. And I feel like the problem as women, if we really care about you, we will tolerate mediocre sex, unfortunately. And I think sometimes when we're upset or we're emotional about something, it's going to be harder to tolerate bad sex with someone who irritated the shit out of us or pissed us off or all that other stuff. So I think from a man's point of view, it may be like, oh, she just doesn't want to have sex, but it could be so many other things. And it could be that she may not enjoy the sex as much as you may think she does.
So I can't tolerate bad sex.
So my thing is, because I've been in situations where at the beginning the sex was like, okay, it's average, but you have something to work with. But I'll speak up. Like, I will tell you, like, okay, this is not working. Like, this is what you need to do. And this is, like, I will tell you. And there have actually been guys that have been like, you kind of, I don't want to say coaching, but like, you being so vocal has kind of helped with my confidence and like helped me. And their sex ended up being really fucking good. Mm-hmm. But I was just like, oh no, that's fucking trash. Like, this is not going to work. You need to do better.
Here's what for you, Jess. That's really good. I'm glad. Like,
and
because I don't even.
It's always but it's always worked, and it's. I mean, nobody's. I think at first it's kind of like, hold on, what? But they listen. Like,
that's good that you, even when it's bad, you go back to try to make it better.
Like, the fact that you
but the thing is, like, I was like I liked them, and I was like, I saw like they had potential as far as like a person. And it wasn't bad the first time, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I cannot, when I see you, like,
Yeah.
But it got to the point where it was like, once I taught them like my body and what I liked, and even like vice versa, because there are certain things like,
Right,
maybe you like fellatio this way and he likes fellatio. Like, you have to learn people's bodies.
Yeah.
But I think a big issue is like, people don't want to speak up and be vocal when, if you really see something happening with this person, you have to speak the fuck up. Like, they don't know that their last girl might have liked rabbit sex. I don't like that. So when you do that with me, my vagina gets dry. Like, it's not a turn on.
You would have to like them to go through that. Like I think all the times that if I've had trash sex, I will never speak to you again. I don't think we would have an opportunity for me to teach, because I'm like, I don't even need to know you as a person at this point.
I'll give somebody like 2 or 3. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Okay.
You said you would try 2 or 3 times?
Yes.
Wow, that's dedication.
Wait.
That's a level of dedication right there.
Okay.
Nah.
Funny story. I remember the first time I had sex after breaking up with someone who I was with for a long time. And the first person, I really liked him. Oh my God, I liked him so much. He was so cute. We had the best time. And I remember we started fucking, and in the middle, like, I'm like laying on my back, thinking like, this cannot, like, I really need to go back to my ex. I was like, this cannot be what I'm in for. And I was so pissed off, like, just laying there like,
that's a terrible welcome to the single life.
It is like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back with some bad sex. That's terrible.
God, it was awful.
That's why we were supposed to say virgins to marriage, because we wouldn't have had nothing to compare it to. We just would have been out here thinking that this is how it was. And unfortunately, we learned that there were some other ways, and some people are better than others.
Happy with that mediocre stuff. Okay. Okay, so my next question, ladies. So what are the most common misconceptions women have about what relationships should be?
That they're supposed to be good all the time. And I don't think we expect that, but I think like relationships are really fucking hard, like really hard. And especially the older you get, like the harder they get. Cause I feel like when you get older, you just get used to you become more independent and you become more aware of who you are as a person. And hopefully happier alone. So you're less willing to tolerate things that maybe you can work through. I have friends that have been with their boyfriends since they were like in high school, and I'm just like, God, that is like me in high school compared to who I am now. I don't think I could have done that. Like, there's no way in the world somebody would have been able to tolerate me for like 20-year-old Jessica to 39-year-old Jessica. There's no way.
I was just going to say, I think one of the misconceptions that women may feel is that sometimes the problem is you. I think a lot of times there's this assumption that the man is always the one who's wrong. But, women are wrong a lot of times as well. And so, women have to be open to doing that growth as well, and not just assuming that it's always the dude.
True. And I also think that another misconception is women think that they're the only ones that are supposed to be getting spoiled on the receiving end. But your man wants to be spoiled too. Your man wants all that affection and attention that you want, so you got to learn, like, just like you want your man to learn you and understand you and the things that you like, and, go out his way, think about you when he's out, all that stuff. Like, whatever that looks like for him, do that, whether that's like supporting the things that he does, or, making sure that you compliment him on a regular, or when you're out thinking about him and pick him up things or whatever. Like, they want to be spoiled too. So I think a lot of women think they're only supposed to be on the receiving end.
So how have your dating expectations changed from your 20s to your 30s to now your 40s?
So I don't have any dating expectations in my 40s anymore.
I was like, no, I don't have any.
They're gone. Like,
what expectation? Expect what?
So, ladies, I'm gonna build us this house, and we're gonna just all end up living in. here.
Look, I expect to have a good time. That's what I expect. Okay.
Yeah.
Come here for a good time. That's it. That's all I want. Like what? I don't have any.
Yeah, I have no expectations anymore. Like none. I don't know. At 20, I was like, oh yeah, by 25, I'm gonna be married and have kids by 30. And then by 30, I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy 35. And then now I'm just like, so I'm gonna get these plans for this house, this Golden Girl like resort type style. Maybe I can find an investor and we can like franchise this shit.
I'm just out here like living my life, living my best life, having a good old time doing me. Something come along, great, but I have no expectations.
And I also have terrible taste in men. Like I just I don't learn. Like
I do too. I mean, what the hell?
I do not learn at all. Like so I told myself, I'm like, after the last person, I prayed to God. I was like, God, I promise you, I will not. I'm gonna just let me try something different. I swear, I will not. I won't date athletes anymore. Don't date none of that. I find a short king, and if you know me, you know I short king. He was a short king. I gave him my number. We had the best time, bro. He's like super Muslim and fucking 30. I'm like, so really? I can't. Like, there's no great. Like, I tried, and this is what you give me.
The opposite end of the spectrum. Like what?
Oh yeah. So clearly, I'm the fucking problem. So I don't have. Because I know I'm the problem.
Right. Is there like an age cutoff that y'all are dating beyond? Like
I would date an old short king too. Wow. I mean,
how young are you going? How young are you going?
Me? I don't think I don't want to.
Young boys, you gotta retire.
Yeah.
I don't even know. You know what? I'd be happy at like 36, 37. Like that's the youngest I would go at this point. But the thing is, we didn't have the conversation because he looked like he was like 36. Like he looked older.
Yeah.
And then finally when the conversation happened, and I knew he was Muslim because of who he was with and just like the circles where I am. And granted, I wasn't looking for a fucking husband. Like he was really handsome. Like I really tried. Like I promised God I would not deal with anyone who was over like 5'10", who was I told him, I was like, I'm not going to date any more black men for right now. Like, just give me something completely different. And he was Palestinian short king. Bet this is going to work for me. No, it didn't fucking work for me. There's no fucking hope. I couldn't go all the way to the other spectrum. Like, I couldn't go white right away. I had to like gradually get there.
You had to go brown.
So yeah, okay. Next, you guys can have the fucking.
Girl, and I'm like 45 is the youngest I really want to date. I've always dated older guys mostly, and I still want to be in that range, older range. Honestly, 50 is really perfect. 50, 55, that's perfect for me. But it ain't. I don't know.
That ain't
what you got, Cinnamon?
What?
You're in a relationship. Tell us.
You got anything good going?
You're the one in the relationship. What should we expect?
Right.
Wait, what's the question?
Look,
I don't know.
Dating expectations. What are they?
The dating expectation in my 20s, I had none. I was really more focused on like life because I saw so many women in my family have trash men that I just wanted to focus on like career, building a business, buying a house. So I was just, if I met a guy, I was just having a good time. 30, I don't know what it was. That was all a blur. And now at 40, I mean, I'm all committed. So I don't really have any expectation. But if I didn't, because it was an accident, I didn't mean to get into a whole relationship. I'm glad I'm in it. I should say that. That sounds weird. I will say I don't think I had too much of an expectation, especially when I moved out the country. I think I was just like, let me see what this European love is about. And it was a good time. And I think at this point, if I wasn't in a relationship, I think, but I'm also cool with not being with a dude. Like, I've never been a person like, oh, I can't wait to get in a relationship and get married. Like, I never was that person. So I think because of that, I may have attracted men that were just as laid back. And so we got along well. But I don't know. Okay.
Just going with the flow.
Yeah, in my 20s, I had all this hope of, it was this hopeless romantic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
God.
that's going to destroy you right there.
It did.
Exactly.
I was always
I
yelling
mean,
at her.
like, literally, I was, I love and,
Aw.
And
Are you a Cancer?
and you dry. Oh,
I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay. No, I mean, I never knew that sign to just be, so into love. I feel like it's usually Cancers and
She was a
Pisces.
lover girl. Like a
yeah, lover girl,
Yes.
lover. And even into my 30s, but now you can have it.
Aw. Like, you can have, like, you don't want love?
No, I'm not saying I don't want love, but let me tell you, I'm I'm not so, because I was a person that used to fall quick. I used to fall quickly, and I didn't take my time. If it felt
red
right,
flags.
it felt good. You know what I mean? I went with it, but now, and also, like, I never experienced like just dating for fun. Like, I never ever dated for fun. I was a relationship girl always, up until maybe like 4 years ago. I never ever just had like casual sex. Like, literally, that was never me.
It sounds like it needs to be your new dating expectation. Just have a good time.
And that is all I expect now. That's what I said. Like, I just want to have a good time. That's it. I'm not looking for anything to happen. Now, if something comes into my life, it's gotta be spectacular. Now, it don't gotta be perfect. It's gotta be
Spectacular seemed like a huge expectation. Let me ask you this. When you were in your relationships, did your friends see red flags in the person you were dating?
yeah, of course.
And so what did you do?
Ducking.
I mean, what did I do? Like,
She's just very loyal. Like,
I stayed. I can't.
Yeah. She's a very loyal person. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but Sandra is very particular about who she deals with. So, like, if you're her friend and like if you're in her life, it's because she really wants you there, and she will fight for you. She will ride for you. Like, we're burying bodies together. Like, she is very, very selective in who she interacts with. So when she loves you, she loves very, 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 very hard. And it, like, I was gonna say that to a fault, especially when it comes to dating.
So you saw red flags.
So the force was on fucking fire.
Okay. So you saw red flags, but did you tell Sandra?
Yes. I mean, so
not in a way like she said it. She, like, if I came to her and was like, whatever, complaining, but like, she also knows me. Like,
yeah, like, she wouldn't have left. Like,
I'm not gonna go until I'm ready to go.
Yeah. And also, I never saw like red flags for me. First of all, like I said, I don't know how to pick them either, so I'm gonna just shut the fuck up for the most part. Like, my relationships were not like, oh my god, yeah, like, I'm throwing stones from like the glassiest of glasses, shiny glasses house ever. Okay, my glass house was made of like glass toothpicks, so I was in no position to say anything. But again, like, it wasn't like I found out he was cheating or something. Like, if that was different, I'd be like, okay, yeah. But it was just like, there was just things that he would do that I was like, you deserve better. But I think we know that. Like, we know we deserve fucking better. We're just fucking dumb.
I had a pattern of choosing men that were emotionally unavailable. That was my pattern.
Yes, fucking toothpicks.
But I chose men that were emotionally unavailable, and I guess, and obviously, I mean, we all have trauma and things that we dealt with. And, you know, there are things that I had to work through over the year. 2019 was a very big like breakthrough year for me because I kind of uncovered a lot of traumas that led to a lot of decisions I made. So that's why, like I said, over the past like maybe 3 or 4 years, I made a lot of changes like just within myself because I realized how certain things that had happened, like this goes back to, you know, when I was a teenager, affected a lot of my decision making as an adult.
That's what I'm. So if you get in a relationship now, do you feel like you are healed enough to do it differently? If you see the red flags, you'd act on it.
I think I'm working on it.
Okay.
Still.
Fair enough.
I think I'm still working on it. And Tasha, I would like to address our last conversation. I did not spin the block.
Thank God.
I did not spin the block, will not, don't plan on it. So that's progress.
Hello? That is progress. You gotta keep it up because it's hard out here.
It's hard. But I think I'm getting better. And I'm much better than I was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And I'm getting better every day. So that's why honestly I don't feel like today, am I ready to get into a relationship? No, don't want one because I don't think I'm there yet. So, but I'm getting there.
Well, at least you know and you're aware because I think that's where people go wrong, jumping into things when they're just not ready. Like you got to do your own healing, go on your own journey. And that's what I tell like a lot of my friends that like to jump from relationship to relationship that have like never just been by themselves and sat with themselves and think it's weird to see other people be single for an extended period of time. And it's just like, well, you in and out of relationships.
Yeah.
And neither, like, you know, so something ain't hitting. Something ain't
right. And I think sometimes it's unfair to be bitter about love when we've made avoided some of the red flags. Like I have a friend now that I think we all know that her dude is probably not a good person. And I think that had been presented maybe 1 or 2 times, but we saw how it was received. So we kind of backed off. And I think what's unfortunate, we know what's going to happen. And I know it's going to make her just hate love and not believe in so much. And it's like, that's not fair because you gave so much energy to this toxic person. And if you just would have like, A, listened to the people who love you, or B, saw that, then you wouldn't have to feel so bitter about love. And we all know that that's what's going to happen in this situation because he's terrible.
You know what? And I hear that. And that happens to a lot of people. And I'm very grateful. Like, I thank God I'm not there. Like, I don't feel like I hate love. I'm definitely still open to love. I still believe in it wholeheartedly. I think I can't go from being such a lover of love to like completely not at all. But like I said, it's just right now. I'm not ready for it, but I believe in it still. And I still believe, you know, eventually I will have it possibly, but I'm still open to it. I'll say that. And I still believe in it because I still like, there's no hate in my heart for anybody else who does experience it.
Yeah.
I think.
And I feel like, you know, sometimes you have, you know, women out here like, oh, men ain't this, man that. I'm like, yeah, you gotta take some responsibilities for the dudes that you date.
I have some great guy friends. Like, I mean, some of them ain't shit, but I do have some really good guy friends. And kind of like back to what you were saying, like for me, when people ask me like why I'm not married, they're like, oh, you're so great and blah, blah, blah. Why aren't you married? I just held on to people longer than I should have. Like I really held on to people so much longer than I should have. But I don't.
Jess, I think you're a fixer.
Oh God, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
Like everybody's mama, it's bad.
Yeah, you want to fix.
I should have had a kid. That's what the problem is. I never. Since I'm trying to raise these fucking men.
That's what you had.
But like I held on to people way too long. I still don't hate them. Like I still believe in love. I just know now. Okay, yeah, you got like 1.5 fuck ups, and you gotta go, and that's just what it is. Because had I known that when I was 20, then I wouldn't have expectations in my 30s and shit because I would have been married.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of bleeds into the next question. So we'll see how, what role does self awareness play in aligning personal expectations with relationship realities?
Like what role? It is the role. It is the role. It is the one role of being self-aware, of being in a relationship. And it's not just romantic. And they women, men, whatever, and they not self-aware. These kids out here in these streets, they are damn sure not self-aware. So it's like you gotta have that just to have any type of relationship, platonic, romantic, or whatever, at your job. Like, and I think that self-awareness is what's thoroughly lacking, and that's why a lot of people's relationships, not just romantic, but platonic relationships, still lack, and still people still feel lonely because they're not self-aware.
Absolutely. Because because you got to think about it. When you're self-aware, then you talk about your expectations of yourself, because that's where it starts, right? So if you are very self-aware, then you're going to say, well, I expect XYZ of myself, and I expect myself to bring this to a relationship. It's not necessarily, you're not looking at it like, well, what can somebody do for me? What can somebody bring to me? You're like, what am I bringing? What's my value? Whatever that looks like. And you start to look at yourself and say, okay, this is what I bring. This is what I expect of myself if I'm going to enter into a relationship with somebody.
Yeah. What they said.
Okay. So we've been talking a lot about, women's roles in this dating expectations versus reality. So what are some practical steps men can take to reassess and adjust their expectations if they find they are unrealistic?
Talk to real people.
I mean, they homeboys. They probably talking to too much.
Oh, real women. Real
off the podcast.
Yeah.
Real women. Like, not like listening to social media, not like you said, listening to podcasts. Like, get out here and talk to some real women. Like, interact with people. Let's just start there.
I wish that there was a way that men or people could communicate in such a way, or had this outlet that you can just have platonic conversations so that people could be vulnerable. And I don't think, with social media and everything, it doesn't seem like there's that place. Because like, if you think about like the guys who are, let's say they're younger and they're introverts and they're interested in women, but they don't know, like, where do they go to find out how do you communicate to a girl? If you like, who do they talk to?
I think it's trial and error. I don't think there's anything that can be said or done. Like it really, even like with me and with women, it's really just trial. Like eventually you realize, okay, like this shit is not working for me. Like I have to try something else.
I don't agree with that. I feel like some people can learn, and then they don't have to actually experience it to learn from your mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, I also think it depends on the kind of man you're talking to, because every man's not going to be receptive. So it's the man. Are you a healed man?
No.
It's like, are you like, have you gone to therapy? Have you healed? Have you worked on yourself? Are you in a position to receive this? Because like we were talking about earlier before we came on, we were talking about that Cam Newton interview and how everything homegirl was saying, she was right on the money, but it was because he didn't want to hear it. He was not in the space to receive some real information like that. Even though she was hitting on was very factual, he was in pure denial that it applied to him.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think you can tell people anything like that. Like, I think eventually you just live enough and then you're like, okay, this isn't working for me. Because I've had
like young people, like before they get as old as Cam Newton, and it's just a wrap. Like if you just
they don't become a Cam Newton,
right? If you're like a young gentleman, because you can't casually go out the way that we used to. Like when they go out to parties and lounges now, everybody's on their phone, they're not interacting. It's this weird type of thing. So if a dude just wants to learn more about women, like how, or a woman, like if a woman wants to learn more about men, like where are the young people supposed to get this information from?
That's a question, child. Where? Where? Because they go on to TikTok.
And they, oh God.
Yeah.
We don't want our young people raised that way.
So
That's all they
you gotta
got.
pray for the future of the next generation.
Just pray for
Honestly, it's your parents. But the thing is, a lot of these parents are fucking idiots too.
Oh, no.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe that's the next money maker. Somebody create that environment, whatever it looks like.
An
Well,
anonymous.
I feel like it was supposed to be a clubhouse, but that just like
That turned like Scamville, right? Didn't it?
like that shit went crazy, like went real left real quick. Like, and everybody on there, I just remember every man
Was that the COVID dating? Like, was it like the
like what like where they have the stages during COVID? Yeah, during COVID, and like they had the people that could talk and the people that were like in the audience, and they would cover different conversation topics or whatever. And it's just like all the relationship ones, the men just seem so angry. Like, and I was just like, oh, it was so much. It was not, it was, yeah. And everybody was always arguing. It was strange. But I feel like that was the intention behind that, and that ain't go so well.
I feel like I've gotten great advice from like my guy friends, and I've given great advice to them. But you just, for me, I just have to experience the dumb shit. And be like,
yeah.
Like,
I mean, like we were just saying earlier, Jess, like it wasn't nothing you could have said to me during whatever I was going through or whatever mistakes I was making or whatever decisions I was making that would have just snapped me out of it. You say one right thing. If you just say that one right thing, that's not going to happen. Like, eventually I had to learn. Eventually I had to work through my shit. Eventually I had to figure out what the hell was wrong with me. You know, why am I doing this? Why am I choosing this way? You know, so.
But part of that is also necessary. Like, if your life is always good, like, you need the fuck ups, and you need to fall on your face, and you need the heartbreak to kind of grow as people.
We're going to have story time like we've been doing it all season. So it's either been submitted by a listener or a topic that's just been on social media. And this one was submitted by a listener, but it was quite long. So quite long and very detailed. So I had to kind of just pull out the key points for y'all. Basically, the situation is this woman met a man who had 2 kids already from a previous relationship, and they went on to have another kid together. And now at this point, she has a newborn, like the baby's less than 6 months old. And basically the backstory is something happened. I don't know what happened with the mother to his first set of kids, but something happened, and now she's in the care of all 3 of them. So she has her newborn.
Are they married?
And no. And she now has his 2 kids from the previous relationship. And she's stressed because she just like, I already have a newborn. That's a new experience for her as it is, huh?
They broke up? Is that what you're saying?
No, they're still together. They're still together. But she's saying this is like, I didn't sign up for this, is kind of what she was getting at in the story. Like, I didn't sign up for this because now I'm saddled with.
Yes, she did.
And
I was going to say you did sign up
for it. Because, that's.
Because as soon as you get into a relationship with a man who has
children, what if that woman died? Like, what did you think was going to happen to those kids?
Them kids ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Those kids when you signed up with him.
Yeah, like if you date somebody with kids, like
sorry,
I mean, God forbid, like what if the co-parent, what if they pass away? Then those kids become your partner's kids full time.
Wait, and not be married? We just gonna take care of the ex-girlfriend?
Absolutely.
No, I would take me and my baby, and we would just date in another house or something if we're gonna stay together. I can't imagine saying I'm about to take care of you and your kids and everybody else, and we not married. I think that's crazy.
I think that's what she's getting at too, because at the end of she says she feels like a babysitter. Like, I think what she's saying is I would feel differently if she was getting the support from the man that because they're his kids, and it doesn't sound like she's getting the support that she needs. And she feels like she's saddled with the kids. Like, these are all her kids and her responsibility that she brought them in the world. And he's kind of just doing what he's been doing. Like, she ain't raising his kids for him.
Like, she needs to leave.
If your mama moved into the house and I am just your girlfriend, even if we had a kid, if your mama need to move in your house, I'm moving out. Like, I can still love you.
Then she needs to move out. Like, if she's not happy with the situation,
she has no obligation.
Yeah, I thought like, they were just, she was saying she don't want no parts of the kids, but they were like, I misunderstood. So yeah, if you're saying that he's not doing anything for the kids and he's providing all the support, then no, absolutely not. You ain't sign up for that.
But she know that. That's why she wrote a whole dissertation. Again, if people, you see it. You didn't need no strangers to tell you the obvious. You already know it. You feel it. Look at me. You feel it. Go. You don't need people. You don't need strangers. Your friends probably already told you, and you just didn't listen. So you thought some strangers would tell you something different. We're gonna tell you the same thing your friend told you.
Yeah, either you have to. I feel like in a situation like that, you accept what it is and just go with it. And you know what? Okay, he's not gonna help. This is what it is. Or you have to leave because.
And don't stick around too long, because the only people you're hurting are them kids. And the longer you're in their lives, then the worse
the more attached they're gonna become. Yeah,
them. Like I have the kids that I was, from previous relationships, I still have relationships with them to this day, and we're not together because they are part of my life. They became a part of my life. We were together. They were like my kids, but you can't just
throw them away.
Just go into kids' lives and then just disappear. So if you're gonna go, you need to go now.
Yeah. Or you need to be in this and realize, okay, like I'm
separate from him and continue the relationship.
She knows she need to go. That's why she wrote a letter to the people. She knows she need to go. I don't even go. This is if you felt like, oh, I'm gonna stay, you wouldn't have sat here and wrote a letter to the people. You know you need to go, but you in this thing where you still here. Go. There's always a choice of staying or leaving. Duh, leave. This is your sign to go.
Or don't. But don't write no more letters.
I would say if her partner is not, like, they got kids, they seem to be very invested in this relationship. So if you're that level invested, I would say try to go to couples therapy if you want to salvage the relationship, if you feel like there is something that can be salvaged. And then, talk about your problems there, because maybe he needs to understand that, listen, you need to pay for a babysitter. You need to get a nanny. We need to have date night. You need to not feel like I just want you so you can take care of my kids. You need to feel like I'm in a relationship and this is our family, and he's contributing to his own family life because he's the one who created all three of them.
I feel like she reading between the lines of the stuff she ain't even telling us. She knows she need to go. That's why nobody says, I'm going to write all this information because I'm and this is not just what nobody's going to say, I'm going to write all this stuff. They know it. They've been processing. They've been doing this for a minute, and they just had to put it out there to somebody. So there's some other stuff that she probably see that she not even telling in the letter that she did write. Because she's been thinking about this. So if you've been thinking about it, you know what you need to do. Like, stop.
There are men though that actually just look for women to mother them.
For sure.
There are men that, there are men that look for women to mother them. So I know they look for people.
Okay. That part.
Exactly.
And at our age, there are men looking for a hospice wife. So you got to watch out for this.
Yeah. Talk about that. You saw Sandra's eyes. We didn't talk about that. A hospice wife is nasty work. Like a hospice.
Damn. Okay. Our age.
Like if they've been living like a real hectic life, shit is breaking down. Like, you know what I mean? Like blood pressure's up. They might have a gout. They might have some diabetes coming in. They ain't dead yet, but they can't be out here in these streets frolicking like they used to. You know what I mean? I might be on some blood pressure medicine. It may not go up the way it does. So they need a woman to really love them to be able to deal with this situation that they are currently in.
No, I'm gonna need you to be in shape, boo. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna
need you to take care of yourself. Okay.
Oh my God. Lord. Oh.
Health is wealth, okay? Like, let's
that apart. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. All right, guys. So now we have come to the part of the show where we're going to turn the tables, and anything that you guys want to ask, any question that you have that you want to circle back around to, new topic, whatever it is, It is open, and I'm opening the comments to whoever is watching. If they want to say anything or chime in too, we can talk about that. So you guys, whatever y'all want to talk about.
Listeners want to ask the group a question.
I forgot this was live, and I'm like, oh God, I said some real off the wall shit.
I warned you.
What advice would you give to women, like in our age group, just like general advice as far as dating goes?
Everybody's thinking real hard.
I think it depends on what they want. You know what I mean? Like if they're like
want to date, who want to eventually like
date to get married, or
date to get married. Like we're tired of the fucking streets. The streets are not for us anymore. If you're toxic, would you entertain a talk? Absolutely, I'm doing this shit right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm doing it right now.
I'm here for a good time right now.
I'm absolutely doing it right now. I know this shit is fucking dumb. He's so nice though. I was sick. He made me fucking soup. It was great.
Exactly. I mean,
rub my feet.
Hey.
It's a very attentive toxic situation, but it's not going anywhere.
Toxic
that's the worst. That sounds frightening. It's a man toxic.
The sex is great, and they're very attentive, and yeah, but it can literally go nowhere.
That man gonna take your soul,
right?
But you know what? You know what it is.
Yes,
and that's the best thing. Like as long as you're honest with yourself.
Every now and then, a little Muslim comment is made, and I'm just like, God, I see you, my God, reminding me this ain't gonna go nowhere.
Oh my God.
Allah, you stay out of this one.
It's between me and him. All right.
Goodness.
So dating for marriage at our age, advice is the question.
What is the definition of dating?
Well, she said
like going out on dates, sleeping with them.
I mean, my thing is, so like if I was to give somebody advice that was asking me just about dating, I would just be like, you know what, learn to be happy with yourself. Like, and this is just something that I've kind of learned over the years. Like when I'm in a really good place alone right now, like I don't need anybody. I am happy. I go to sleep through the night. I have amazing relationships with my girlfriends. I have an amazing relationship with my family. Like I'm very happy and feel very complete by myself. Yes, I have some trauma that I have to deal with, but I'm aware of it and I'm kind of making adjustments to fix that trauma. But I feel like I know who I am as a person. So when I've dated recently, like in the past couple of years, I've been very happy. Like I haven't cried, like none of that. And then when it was time for me to go, it was like, okay, this is just, it's kind of ran its course and it was fine. So I think just something I would tell people is I feel like when it happens for me, because I'm in a good place, it'll just happen organically, but don't go looking for shit. What's supposed to happen will happen, but focus on you, and what is intended for you will kind of manifest itself when you're where you're supposed to be.
Until the right one comes along, have fun with the wrong ones.
Eat this halal meat.
Oh no. You know what I would say? I agree with what Jessica says. I would say focus on you, because even when you get into those long relationships, that whole me time thing is gone, and you're gonna wish that you had the time to just have your time if you haven't had the opportunity to do that. Secondly, I would say whether it's you're looking for romance or just more quality relationships, is just focus on relationships where you can provide value to the person. And I'm not just saying monetary or anything like that. Like even for my friends, like if you don't get better from knowing me, then I messed up. You know what I mean? And I think when you have that type of relationship, whether it be men or women, your relationships are so much better. Like I can collectively say all the people I know are super amazing, super great. But that's also because I make a conscious decision to say, I need to make sure that I can add to each of these relationships. And I think if you approach things like that, even the quality of the men that you meet is completely different, because men can meet a pretty face. They can, they can meet somebody they want to sleep with and all that. But just someone saying, oh, damn, she added to my life. Because that's the thing. When you leave, it is missed. When someone of value leaves your life, it is missed. And I think in this world, people kind of approach relationships. And if you're that needy person that every time somebody talk to you, you need some shit, then stop being that person. That's some advice. But if you don't grow and learn and do for yourself, it's going to be really hard for you to add value to anybody's life. And this is not romantic. This is even platonic. And I say, just focus on that. Focus on you. Focus on getting better for you, getting like what you need out of life. And it sounds cliche, but I feel like all the relationships that you're going to need in your life, whether it's romantic or platonic, they're going to come to you.
Yeah,
they will.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And let me just say this, because what she just said was 1000% true, because sin is the only reason that I know about this said platform that we are on right now doing these things. And I have asked her for advice up until the very moment that we were on this thing. So thank you, Sin. I love you so much, girl.
Always, but I love you too.
Please don't ever ask me for advice. You know it's going to be absolutely horrible.
Right.
Have a great time. We'll make some fine fucking memories. However, do not come for me for life advice.
I can tell you how to raise really good kids.
Yes.
That's valuable.
That's what I had in the bag. Okay, I did that right.
Her kids are fucking amazing. I don't even
I did that right.
I love her kids.
But
I think that's the beauty in it. Knowing your friends and knowing what they bring to your life, because everybody brings something. Everybody can't bring the same thing. You know what I mean? So that's the beauty of it. Because everybody know, don't come to me unless you I ain't got no filter. So we gonna talk. You really want to know the truth? Call me. I'm gonna tell you.
Okay, ideal relationship. I mean, this is different for everybody, right? So what is your ideal relationship? And I'm talking about like somebody that you would say, this is somebody I could spend the rest of my life with.
I need somebody who can, I'm not for everybody. And a lot of men are kind of like put off by the shit that I say sometimes. So for me, it's just somebody who just lets me be me. That's really important. Like the minute that I feel like judged or like I have to kind of subdue myself for you, that's immediately a no. And now as I'm older, like I need somebody who can fucking be a grown ass man. Like I need you to be able, I know this sounds, I need you to be able to fix shit. I need you to be able to like lead. Like the one thing that I've noticed in like the one relationship where I felt really safe, and even like the one thing that I like about the person now, it's like I really trust them to lead. And I feel like a lot of women, especially like women of color, we suffer from hyper independence. Like I don't need you for shit. So for me to trust you enough to like allow you to lead and tell me to just sit down and shut up and I've got this, like that is what I look for. I don't need a ton of, I don't want to be broke, but you don't have to be a millionaire. Like you don't have to be all those things. Like I want to be comfortable, but I want to have peace in knowing that like you can pick up slack and I can be, I hate the fucking soft shit. No, I don't want to be soft. I just want to be able to sit the fuck down and like let you worry about it. Because I'm always worried about stuff. Like I've always taken care of people. And like Sandra said, like I've always fixed people. Like, bro, fix me. Like I want to be fixed. Like, let me not have to worry about you.
It's your turn.
Yeah.
And know how to grow some vegetables in case the apocalypse comes.
I think for me, like the best relationships that I've had, whether we made it to like a full-blown relationship or not, that I enjoyed the most is having like a for real built-in best friend. And what I mean by that is just like we can talk about anything. We are ourselves with each other because that's what makes it like real. You know what I mean? Like you ain't gotta look cute all the time. You ain't gotta be done up all the time. We can talk about anything, silly stuff, real stuff, TV shows. You want to binge watch the same ones I want to binge watch. Like we want to do these things together. I love that aspect of like the friendships that I've had with guys and that wanting to see each other and spend time with each other. Outside of that, someone who's respectful, honest, reliable, and somebody who's spontaneous, who want to get up and go on a trip. Like, let's just go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that's like my biggest thing. I need somebody who wants to be fun. What y'all think?
I think for me, I'll answer my own question. Ideal relationship for me is like, I agree with you, Tasha. Like, I need you to be my best friend. Like you said, we got to be able to talk about anything. We got to be able to do anything. We got to be able to be silly together. I want us to be completely vulnerable with each other, like everything out in the open. There's nothing you can't tell me. There's nothing I can't tell you. I need you to, well, I need us together to just take the time to get to know one another, everything about each other, so that we're not, and not want to trigger each other. So like if I know there's something that upsets you, I know that's something that triggers you, nothing in my heart wants to do that, and vice versa. Yeah, we're going to go through stuff, we're going to have arguments, we're going to have disagreements, but being able to talk through things and get to the other side of it without any disrespect, and just wanting to build a future, and just constantly planning and having fun together, but just, kind of just being true partners.
Anybody else?
Are you talking about me?
What made you get into a relationship with your man? Or like, what was it about your person that made you be like, okay, I want to pursue this as more than just something casual?
I think it was definitely trust. Because prior to him, I was in a relationship with a compulsive liar. So I think I was probably checked out on the whole relationship thing. And then when I met him, because I knew him from years ago, he was actually my high school sweetheart. And then 30 years passed, and then we found each other after he got a divorce and found me on Facebook. So we never connected. So if it didn't happen that way, I probably would have been riding this off to the sunset, like, single for life. So there's pluses and minuses. I adore the way he cares for people just in general. But I think the thing that makes it difficult is he loves everyone more than himself.
Mm.
And so that is the battle we have now. Like, I trust him to lead. I trust him to do all of those things. But it is scary and terrifying, actually, to be with someone who may love you more than they love themselves, because they may not take care of themselves the way that they should, or they may not put themselves first in situations in which they should. So for that, this is probably the first time I've experienced that. And a part of it is super admirable, because I've usually met selfish bastards. But, because I care for him so much, I want the best for him, but he needs to want that for himself. And so that's where the struggle is. But I also learned that if you're an introvert, dating a person who is an introvert, it's much more fun and less stressful than dating someone who's an extrovert and you're not. So I enjoy that. I just enjoy being comfortable. And I think, the trust thing is huge to me. So that's what made it very easy to say, yeah, I'm good.
Is he overseas with you, or is it long distance?
No. When I moved here, we weren't together.
Okay.
And then he got a divorce and, was on Facebook. And initially, because we did know each other, he's like, oh, I need a friend. And she's all the way across the other world. Look, this is easy. I could have my own friend. And then, next thing you know, he's flying over here. So right now we are doing the long distance thing that I probably, again, would not be able to do with any other man but him. So yeah, but the plan is for him to move to Europe soon.
Oh, yay! Congratulations.
It hasn't happened yet, but thank you.
Fuck out of America. I don't blame him.
He's still over there, so it's still hard. But
I love that for you. Like, I love that you're able to talk about that in, like, your current situation. I think that's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
He's want you dance up there.
We should dance to that.
Somebody got to have somebody be happy about it.
Dance and drink to that.
Because
And then I feel like every time you're over it, it feels like something pops up. Because I feel like the times that I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. And then next thing you know, some cat pops up, and then that takes up a year of your life.
Yeah. Well, at least you made it to a year. Mine don't get past like a month.
No, that was usually me. I was usually a 2-week or a 2-month girl. And after 2 months, it never seemed to, I was usually ready to go.
Yeah, mine's like about 3 to 4 months.
That's good.
4 months?
Yeah, 3 to 4 months. That's
Yeah.
too long. I need to bring it down. I need to get down to like 2 months. 2 months is perfect, I feel like. Like that 90-day probationary period, either you made the cut or you didn't.
Okay.
I feel like that's realistic. Because by then we should have fought. We should have maybe gone something. Yeah.
We got a little glimpse at least.
Yeah.
I think it helps if you're able to see the red flags, then it's cool. But if people still struggle to see the red flags, then you still in a long relationship that you should have been out of a while ago.
Well, we see them. We just don't pay attention to them.
I know some people say, I mean, some of my friends, I'm like, do you see it? I don't know.
I see them. I'm just whatever.
I think we all see them. We just don't pay attention.
With those rose-colored glasses are like real thick.
Would there be something someone could say to you to ever make you pay attention?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Because we know it's there.
I'm afraid up here. No, ain't nothing you can say to these people.
We're choosing not to pay attention.
Yeah.
When we're seeing the red flags and like,
I mean, if you come to me like, oh, your man was fucking my brother, like, okay.
That's extreme.
Red flag, though.
And then I'm like, oh, you know what? You might be right. That's not the same for me.
Not even a red flag.
Yeah, that's then I'd be like, okay, like my antenna's up, I'm listening. But if it's like, oh, he was kind of rude to the waiter.
Right.
He was having a bad day. That's the kind of.
Okay, what if it's not rude to the waiter?
Well, that would piss me off, but I was just like trying to think of something. But if it's
like, what if it's a situation like you're not being considered?
So my thing, I think I've always dated people that were very attentive to me until shit just went left.
Yeah, same here. Like I may have some issues with other red flags, but I've never dated a guy who was not super attentive, super obsessed, super into me. So that's never been an issue.
So do you think they love bombed you on some manipulative stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
That's what Nick Cannon said he was doing. Did y'all see that clip?
Yeah, he did.
Please, can we stop giving?
First of all, I can't even say that.
He said the whole game out. He said, "I'm gonna play the game." He played a long game. I'm gonna play as long as you need me to play, and then I'm gonna show you my toxic me. Like, as soon as you give it up, it's a wrap.
But I don't think any woman who. I don't feel like women, like real women, out here thinking that Nick Cannon is the catch. Do they? Are people?
I mean, 30 fucking million children. People aren't. I hope
but like the doctor said, that's a different type of woman. You're a different type of woman if you know a man has 30,000 kids and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna sign up for that.
That's what you wanted to say. You're a fucking dummy. Like, I've done some dumb shit.
But I think there are a lot of women. I think his case is a little extreme because he got so many kids. But there are women that meet guys who maybe they would potentially be the third baby mama, let's say, and still have that same level of delusion though. But they're functioning, like she was saying, like they're functioning at a level of they know they own some bullshit too. Like, because for example, I had a friend
like that woman who wrote you. Sorry,
huh?
I said like that woman who wrote you.
Hey, sis.
In case you're still watching, in case you were still wondering if you need to stay or go.
But like some women, like, and these ages just be taking us out. Like the 30s, the 40, like turning to these ages just be taking us out and like putting all this pressure on so many women. And for example, I have a friend, we no longer speak over a man that was never even her man because I was very honest and direct with her. And she asked me, I always like to preface it with that. Don't ask me a question if you don't want me to tell you the truth, because I'm going to tell you the truth. So like red flags just out the wazoo. But I'm 40 and I want to get married and I want to have a baby. And even if we don't get married, I can have his baby. Like, you know, so that's like a level of like dysfunction to me. Like if you're willing to, you see all these you see them, you in denial.
But what does the person have to say? That's what I want to be. That's what I want to understand.
It doesn't matter because the nigga was doing whatever he wanted to do.
There's not nothing. All right, Sandra, Jessica, there's not nothing someone can say to you other than sleeping your brother. Like, okay, what can a friend say to you for you to be like, all right, nothing?
I don't think there's anything. Like, I really don't think there's anything because.
And the more you try to say, the more you give unwarranted advice to your
friend. You ask for it.
Yeah, you ask for it. And nobody just
okay. If you ask for it, that's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you don't ask for it, okay, well, that's different. If you ask for it, that's different. But you don't get mad at her if she doesn't take your advice, because sometimes we just want to talk about it or whatever. But you can't. And the more you alienate her or make her feel like shit about her situation or her choices or whatever, the more she's just not going to talk to you. It doesn't mean she's going to leave. She's not going to leave, but she's just not going to come to you because she doesn't trust that she can tell you her feelings.
Yeah.
She's not.
Here's the thing. If you ask me, first of all, if you know me as a friend and for some reason you thought the need to ask me and wouldn't allow me to be gone.
Yeah, that's different. Like if I'm asking you, then absolutely. But but I very seldom, until I'm ready to like go, will ask for advice because I think we know that.
And even if I do ask and you give me the advice and I don't take it, don't be mad. Like if somebody asks me advice about some situation, you know, I've had friends that ask me advice about a situation that, you know, they may continue to deal with on a regular basis. And I may say, do this. They don't do it, but I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? You can still come talk to me about the same thing. And
yeah, I don't feel like I could do it. Man, I can't. Like even if I have a friend who keeps getting her, let's say in case she's in an abusive relationship.
Oh, that's different. Okay.
If she, but to me is not like I can't sit and continue to hear a friend be in a dumbass situation and then I got to keep hearing about it. I'm just not wired that way, and it can make me a bad friend. But I'll say that. Like even for my best friend, if she's in a bad relationship, I'm going to say it. I'm not going to be in a situation where I'm going to be disrespectful in her home to her husband, anything like that. And we separate the situation. She don't ask me for advice, or if you don't ask me. But if you ask me advice and then you get upset because I gave you the advice, that's weird. I don't want to know you no more. Two, even if you were the type of person who always in some shit with a dude, I probably couldn't be your friend just in general because that shit's exhausting. Like, I don't even know who got this much time. Like, I got to go.
Yeah, no, I think if you ask for it, that's different.
If you ask for it, that's different.
But if it's constant, like unsolicited, just negative, like, oh, he's not shit, then eventually I'm just gonna distance myself. And even like when you were saying, like, from somebody who's been in an abusive relationship, like a really abusive relationship, one of the best things that my friends did is they never alienated me. And I never felt that, like, when I was ready to leave, I didn't have a place to go. And one of the reasons why I tend to be more sympathetic is because I never want, especially in those situations, like even if it breaks down, don't come running to my house and he's chasing you because people are fucking crazy. You're not going to get us both killed. But I'm never going to make my friends feel like they can't talk to me and I won't just even be there to listen. Even if the whole time I'm listening, I'm like, you're the dumbest bitch in the world. I don't ever want them to feel like they can't come to me just because I've been in the position where when I was ready to go, I had people to go to who made me feel safe and who protected me. And if I didn't have those people, I might not have left. And they were my saving grace. So it comes from, like, my sympathy is different because I've been that person who's been in a really fucked up, harmful situation. And I feel like unless you've been there, there's just a level of sympathy that you can never really, because before then I would have been like, there's no fucking way I would ever let somebody put their hands on me. Next thing you know, I'm being tied up and fucking left for dead. Like, what the fuck is going on?
I think everyone's past and trauma is going to affect them differently as to how they handle their friendships. Because for me, I could not personally watch my friend get beat, but I watched my mom get beat. And as a child, I was like, this is stupid as shit. He's dumb. Like, you gonna let him throw us out and do all this stuff. So I didn't respect that watching my mom do it.
Got it.
So I personally, to have my peace, I'm gonna be like, look, I'm here for you, but I can't watch a friend that I love keep getting her ass beat. That's just, it's not in me. And it's not to say it's anything about her. She would probably have to go to another friend to be the emotional support. Mm-hmm. But I'm the one you call when you over it, and now we gotta go get your stuff. And that's usually how it went down for my friends who were in that situation. But I think everybody's trauma is going to affect relationships differently. And so some people are wired to be able to be more empathetic because of what they've experienced. And again, platonic or romantic. I personally, I know that for me, I'm not wired that way. Like, I'm not the friend that if you got a terrible job and you can keep calling me about it, I'm not that girl. If you got a bad relationship and you keep calling me about it, I'm not that friend. Like, I'm never the friend that you keep being in bullshit and I got to hear about it. I'm not wired that way. I can't do it. It got to be somebody else.
And we all have different friends for different things. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who to call in different situations. Yeah. Doesn't mean that anyone means less or more than the other. We all feed off of each other, and we feed into each other in ways that we need for each other.
Right. I do feel women have the ability to have these multiple friendships because we have these circles. But I feel like with men, when women are dating men, the expectation is he has to be all of those things when you may get that thing from 4 different women. Like, when you say, oh, I want him to be my best friend, I want to da-da-da-da-da, that's cool, but we acknowledge our friends did this. Is 4 or 5 women that did this.
Yeah, my
we
best
expect
friend
this one man to be that.
Yeah, my best friend now is not. I still have other friends that, you know what I'm saying, do other things, but like, so yeah, even when you say you're in a relationship and he's my best friend, no, I don't expect him to be my everything. Like, I'm not.
But not saying you. I'm just saying,
right.
In general, I know. Out here being delusional, thinking this man need to. And it's not. It's actually, it's really unfair.
Yeah,
to put that pressure on somebody.
It is a lot.
Can I ask y'all this? Because I feel like when we were talking about like how we handle these situations, like with friends, like we'll talk about girlfriends specifically. In these situations, I feel like I have evolved into a harder person that I am now, which is why I'm just like, don't call me with this foolishness if you know you're gonna get back to him tomorrow. Like, don't waste my fucking time. Like, why are we doing this? I'm not doing this with you every week, sis. Because I did that in my 20s, and I was the one like giving you resources, or let's do this, let's figure this out, let's do that. And then you just get back with him 2 months later, and you have his baby, and then you get engaged, and then you get married, and then you still wonder why you're dealing with the same stuff. I don't want to talk about this the rest of my life. So that has to be something that's carved out and out off the table, because that's crazy. And it does bother me too when I see. And it makes me question, like, where does the accountability fall? Like, I know we say we have our friends for different things, different reasons, but why is it not okay to hold your friend accountable? Mm-hmm. I don't understand that. Like, why, if I see this nigga shit at the door, why do I gotta bite my tongue and like wait until this nigga fuck you over and do some wild shit to be like, I knew that shit go. Why? Why can't
I think there's a way that you can hold people accountable though. And just say, but it just depends on your delivery. Because I have like a younger girlfriend. She has a boyfriend. I really don't care for him. I like him as a person. I don't like him for her. But I tell her all the time, I'm like, again, I'm more empathetic because I don't, like, I've been through it and I want her to feel like I'm a safe space. But I tell her all the time, I'm like, you're fucking stupid. Like, it just is what it is. You're stupid. I'm going to be here for you and I'm going to let you vent. But at some point, like, you're the one who's like I've told her, you're the one who's tolerating this. He does this because you allow it. And it's just going to continue. Like, one day you will get tired of it and you will leave. But if you have to understand that this is your situation, you've accepted it. He knows you're going to accept it. So he's not going to change. And either you take it for what it is or you leave. But nothing's going to change. So I also think it just depends on like your delivery.
That is true.
Like you can't be like,
Well,
oh,
I'm
you're
confused
It
because
doesn't
initially
it's
you
like,
guys was like, and nothing you can say would make me look at these red flags. And now it's like it's about your delivery. So how
Yeah,
do
but
we
that
do
doesn't
it?
mean she's
Oh
gonna.
no, that doesn't mean that she's taking. No, I'm gonna speak my piece. I'm gonna say what I'm thinking, but that doesn't mean I know she's not fucking listening. Like she doesn't
She's
take
not
it.
gonna leave until she's
Yeah,
ready.
she's not leaving until she's ready. Like there's
You're
nothing
saying
I
like
can
your
say to her.
delivery, right?
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
delivery
But
in
I think in
terms
order
of-
for me to have like to feel like I'm being a decent friend and like being honest with her, I still need to tell her like, okay, this is your situation is shit. However, I know when there's nothing I can say to her that's going to change her mind, but just me as your friend, I'm still going to be honest with you and just be like, okay, you're fucking stupid. He's going to keep behaving this way and it's fine. And I'm be here when you get tired of it. And I'm going to be here when you call me again to tell me the dumb shit.
That's beautiful.
And it's like, look, I got none of y'all shit, okay?
No, I
None
think
of
it's
y'all.
beautiful. I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. I feel like people need people like that.
that's I feel like that too, but then at the same time, when you end up being that person that's getting emotional,
No, I know I can't be that person.
time
I
after
just
time
know people
after
need
time
people
after
like that.
time, ooh, that's just not even fair to that friend. Like that's nasty work to that friend. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
is.
'cause
I
that
feel
friend
this,
like
that,
fucking
right.
therapist.
I feel like people don't really
Go get a
don't.
therapist.
They don't
But
consider
that's
that
only
part.
if the friend minds.
Well, I feel
let
like
me
even
not
if
say
they
that,
mind,
'cause
let's say I mind, right? I totally mind, right? But
Right.
then you look like less of a friend when you're trying to protect protect you and your friend. Like I care about you and I care about me, and so of course I mind because you keep whether you're not asking me or I tell you, because if I rock with you, I love you down. And I probably love you more than you love yourself. So to see somebody not do right by you drives me fucking insane. And I can't sit there and watch that. I can't do it with my family. I can't do it. So I got to be like, but I feel like being that person, you're labeled the bad friend.
yes.
And I feel like that's mad unfair. Like I got to deal with your dumbass decisions, and I'm the bad friend because I don't want to be a part of it.
No, I don't think so. I feel like you just know once. I feel like every woman knows when she's gotten to the point in her relationship where she's being fucking stupid. And then she kind of just knows who to grab, like who to talk to about certain things.
Yeah. And I know for sure, one thing's for sure, two things for certain. If I call Jess, she gonna be like, bitch, get your shit together. Period. Like she's gonna tell me that. Like, girl, get it together. That's dumb, whatever. She ain't really gonna be trying to hear a whole lot of shit. But like if I call my girlfriend Chelsea, she gonna sit on the phone with me and we gonna talk about it, and she gonna have a little bit more patience.
Yeah.
I don't look at Jess in no kind of way or feel no kind of way about that. It's just different. You know what I mean?
But I would say y'all are more self-aware than the average woman who is coming with this shit.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So y'all process of thinking through things is not how the majority of women, especially women that may be in toxic situations, process how other people are treating them when communicating about said relationship.
Yeah.
Because I've sat on the phone and this is so out of who I am and what I want to do on my days off. I sat on the phone for hours. I'm not playing with you, like 3 to 5 hours at a time. Sometimes every day. And it's just like people will bleed you dry. Like, oh my God. Like, I don't know how people continue to like listen over and over and over and over again. Cause I had enough. Like, you got to go hire somebody for this one, sis. Cause this is too much. This is too much on one person. You emotionally dumping on them. And I'm like, bitch, I got my own problems. I ain't got no man. I got bills.
Send them an invoice.
Like, oh my God. Like, oof. Yeah.
That's a bit much. I think you definitely do have to be cognizant of other people. Like, you know, if you want to call and you want to vent, you want to talk about some stuff. One, I know if I'm calling and talking about something that I know I've said before, this is like a repeated thing, I know that going in, and I'm gonna be like, whatever. I'm gonna try to cut it short. I'm not gonna I'm pretty I guess I'm a little bit more
You were
aware,
far more self-aware
right? More
than these
self-aware
women.
than
Yeah.
the average because I'm gonna be like, well, I know this is the same bullshit I called you about last week, but hey girl, I just need to update what's going on. But all right, what's going on with you? Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I try to be not as
But I also think that when you have certain, like, I have great relationships with my friends. If that shit is like too much for me, like if I have my other, I will absolutely be like, I love you and I wish the best for you, but I can't deal with your shit right now. Like, it's nothing personal. And I know that they'll respect me and be like, okay, I got you. And they'll be willing to listen to me. But I don't have a problem telling my friend, like, I don't have it in me right now to deal with your shit because I have my own shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the few things that I do pride myself on is kind of knowing how to speak to people, because a lot of times, like, people just, it's their tone or like how they, like, I don't really get into arguments with people, but I know how to address, like, if something's bothering me. I also don't take things personally when, like, my friends address things with me, because there are going to be times when you miscommunicate. But yeah, just being able to tell, like, I love my friends enough and I feel like they love me enough. Like, if that shit is too much, like, girl, call me next time you guys argue. Like, I know you guys are going to get back together. There'll be another time. Just, I'm here next time, but I can't deal with that shit right now.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And don't forget to follow and subscribe for more content to Secrets of the Opposite Sex on Instagram, TikTok, and here on YouTube. And on YouTube, we're going to start doing live episodes so you can interact and leave comments and ask questions during this segment as well. Be sure to download the Secrets of the Opposite Sex app, Game of Questions, on Apple App Store to play from home. Until then, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.